In the mid-19th century, biologist Charles Darwin formulated a brilliant scientific theory called evolution. This term is defined as a change in the heritable characteristics of biological populations over successive generations. And a Pokemon that goes through a bevy of different characteristic changes is none other than the iconic evolution Pokemon itself, Eevee. And with 8 different flavors of Eeveelutions to choose from, it can be a really difficult choice on which one you want to pick. So today, I thought I could try to help narrow down the list of what Eeveelution you should go with. And with that, welcome to my top 5 strongest Eeveelutions. Now, the components I will be adding to help formulate this list will be a variety of different things, including stats, move pool, typing, and overall usefulness in battle. Now, keep in mind, videos like these are just my opinion, and if you do not share the same one, then that is 100% okay. But I do try to be as objective as possible, so take that for what you will. Oh, and don't forget to leave a comment down below of which Eeveelution you think is the strongest. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And with that being said, let's get started. Starting off the list, we have one of the first 3 Eeveelutions ever to be introduced in the Pokemon franchise, Flareon. Nah, I'm kidding, that thing sucks. We're actually going to be talking about its opposite counterpart, Vaporeon. Now, if it wasn't for the release of the Pokemon Sun and Moon metagame, Vaporeon would be much higher on the list. It's got a monster HP stat to go along with good special defenses and a very nice support move pool with moves like Wish and Heal Bell. And while normally people run Vaporeon as a special defensive support tank, it can also be very effective as an offensive Pokemon thanks to its good special attack and access to Z-Celebrate, which boost all stats by 1 stage. And on top of all of this, Vaporeon also has a great ability in Water Absorb, which can be used to check water type moves. The problem with this Pokemon though is, like I said earlier, the addition of Generation 7. The added Z moves, the Tapus, and the fact that a lot of the Pokemon in these games are just super offensive. Dhelmise, Kommo-o, Marowak, Serena, Bruxish, the Ultra Beast, the Tapus, and these are just some that I just thought of. And not to mention, there is also just better tanks out there. Like, do you guys remember when Vaporeon used to be an OU? Oh man, how the mighty have fallen. I think one of the most important things to have when building a good attacking Pokemon is speed. And by far the fastest Eeveelution in the game has to be the lightning Pokemon Jolteon. Now, sure, this Pokemon does have a cookie cutter strategy and is not very versatile, but just because it only has one use doesn't mean it's a bad Pokemon. As long as it can do that one thing really well, then that can be enough sometimes. Typical sets I see from Jolteon are Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, HP Ice, and Volt Switch to go along with a Life Orb. And although it's known for having good speed and special attack, Jolteon also has a pretty underrated special defense. The problem with this Pokemon though is, like I said earlier, it's very cookie cutter, so it can be very predictable and can easily be checked by physical attackers. But with its good speed, special attack, Volt Absorb, and the necessary items in nature, it still packs a punch. I think you guys all know by now that Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver are one of my favorite games of all time. Part of the reason why definitely has to be the new Eeveelutions that came from Johto. Espeon and Umbreon have one of the coolest designs ever, despite the fact that they are pretty simple. And winding up third on this top 5 list is my favorite of the 2 Pokemon, Espeon. Similar to Jolteon, Espeon is a fast special attacker with good special defense, but the difference between the two besides typing and abilities is the fact that Espeon can be way more versatile than Jolteon. You can of course run the typical all-out attack with choice specs, or you could run a leftovers with Calm Mind. Either way, they're both very effective. It also has access to a very useful ability in Magic Bounce that prevents Espeon from getting hit with status attacks. And move-wise, you don't have much to work with, from Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Morning Sun, Psychic, and of course, Calm Mind. And that's what really holds Espeon back. Its shallow offensive move pool makes it really difficult to deal with most steel types. Furthermore, its Psychic typing gives it common weaknesses to Dark and Ghost type moves. And finally, its bad physical defense often prevents it from utilizing its ability to its fullest potential, or switching in on most threats it checks. All in all, Espeon is a solid Pokemon, but if it had a bit better physical defense and move selection, it would be a lot higher up on this list. Without a doubt, the best defensive evolution of all time has to be the dark type counter to Espeon, Umbreon. This Pokemon is literally the perfected version of Vaporeon defensively. It's got great defenses on both fronts and a good HP stat, making it a very stally Pokemon with lackluster attack stats and speed. And with stats like this, Umbreon has the perfect move pool to complement it, with moves like Toxic, Heal Bell, Wish, Protect, and Foul Play so you can pull off some damage. And I'm sure it's not that hard to find horror stories from Pokemon fans about how hard it is to take down an Umbreon, and that's just because it's a frickin' tank. The problem with this Pokemon that keeps it from getting that #1 spot though is those piss poor attack stats can make Umbreon susceptible to being used as setup fodder for Pokemon like Snorlax, Florges, and Reuniclus. Also, a weakness to common Pokemon types like Fighting and Fairy doesn't make life any easier. But that amazing bulk will at least be enough to take a couple of hits. Umbreon isn't necessarily strong like in the conventional sense, but strength can come in different forms, and defensively, Umbreon is a monster. When it comes to classifying what is the strongest evolution, I think everybody knew going into this video which one was going to be the best. I am obviously talking about the most recent addition to the Eeveelution family, Sylveon. Why is it so obvious, you say? Well, for one, fairy types are just OP as hell. Let's just get that one out of the way. It counters the former most powerful typing in Dragon, as well as a popular typing in Fighting, and for its weaknesses, being Poison and Steel, they can easily be countered by one ground type move. But the typing is not the only thing good about this Pokemon. Stat-wise, Sylveon has got good bulk, a great special defense and attack stat with the same access to Wish and Heal Bell. And I'm not done there. Those two moves aren't the only awesome ones it gets. Moonblast, Hyper Voice, Psyshock, Shadow Ball are all great moves to have. And with its amazing ability in Pixelate, moves like Hyper Voice become even more effective in battle. Now, of course, Sylveon has its weaknesses like physical attackers, Scizor and Mega Beetle to be specific, but every Pokemon has its counter, and you can't say that Sylveon is not the best evolution in the game. You'd just be lying to yourself if you thought differently. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and become an Eryizo today. And if you guys ever want to participate in any one of these top 5 videos, I will be asking for your guys' opinion a lot more on Twitter, so be sure to go follow me there. Links are in the description. I also will be updating you guys on when videos come out, so if you ever want to know at the earliest time possible, you know where to go. And I just want to reiterate that again, this is just my opinion. So if you disagree with me, that is completely fine. In fact, let me know why you think I'm wrong in the comments section below, and tell me what evolution you think was left off the list. If you want to check out the previous video I did, be sure to click the annotation on the left. If you want to see some Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon videos, click the other annotation on the right. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.